come in to lead the investigation into Joe Carroll and his followers. I'm also an expert in cults, so I bring that expertise to the case. I'm an expert in cults. Yeah, I read a lot of books. It's really fascinating stuff, and really like one of my favorite things about being an actor, because you get these little windows into worlds that you would never necessarily look into. One of my favorites was a book called Cartwheels in a Sari. It was a woman who was born into a cult, actually in Queens, yeah, the Sri Chinmoy Center. She was born into that cult and then ended up leaving it as an adult. But her account of like her youth and growing up, just wild, totally wild. Yeah. It's really interesting because, you know, if you Google cult, one of the first things that you find is that cult is one of the most like hotly debated terms among experts. You know, one man's cult is another man's religion, and so it's hard to say what a common thread is, but I would say the first thing probably is you know, the creation of a small group, not unlike a family unit, and I think that holds appeal for most of us, truth be told. I mean, everybody wants to be a member of something. If you've ever been in a club, you know, you're like, I belong with these guys, and I think that's probably the first thing. Most of them tend to have a charismatic leader. And beyond that, it's kind of like sky's the limit. There are so many variations.
This cult sort of differs in the fact that the family aspect for distance because he's homeless, right? He's not able to directly be there and have his force of personality there. So are these men who are following are more inspired by him personally, or the ideas that he represents?
That's a really good question. I think it's a combination of the two. I mean, I think that's definitely one of the primary things that Parker is involved in, is sort of actually defining whether or not this is a cult. In what way is it a cult? How are they relating to one another? How are they relating to Carol? And I think that, you know, it's not unlike she's not unlike a little bit like a scientist who discovers a new species. You know, that it's continually surprising to her also. And as somebody with a somewhat academic background, I think it's like just a super exciting time in her life, because she's actually out there, you know, discovering this thing, and it's constantly surprising her.